Okay, so I'll get started here. I'll edit out the beginning.
Sure.
Hello and welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. My name is Don Pelto and I have Mr. Jeff Rogers. He is from ProTech Athletics. Welcome, Jeff.
Hi, Don. It's great to be here. Happy to spend some time with you.
Thank you. Jeff, the reason I wanted to chat, we're going to be talking, or people that'll be listening to this are a lot of sports medicine podiatrists. So basically we focus a lot on athletes, and there's a lot of different products that are out there that can help our patients. And sometimes we have to refer them to Amazon, for example, to local stores. And sometimes we carry some of these in the office. And so I wanted to kind of talk to you guys because you have a big portion of kind of what we dispense in our office. So, but a little bit behind you, I guess you got kind of interested in this stuff. You were in college in Hawaii. So tell me a little bit of the story, how you got interested in massage tools and things like that.
Okay. Well, first, real quick, ProTech Athletics, just to give a quick overview on who we are. We basically have three categories of products. And we started out with orthopedic braces and supports, which had been our main focus for a long time. Then we got into massage tools, which is another category, foam rollers, mobility balls, handheld massage sticks, those types of things. And now a little bit more into fitness, home exercise, cross training. So
Cool.
I could start anywhere, but
well, what are you most interested in? Like, this is your baby. So tell me the story behind it.
Right. Okay. So I went to, as you mentioned, I went to school at University of Hawaii. I was able to go there on a volleyball scholarship.
Okay.
And that's always been my passion. I grew up in Southern California. So, playing on the sands of Santa Monica, LA area. I love volleyball, played in high school, was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to play in Hawaii. And then I know we can talk about Hawaii for a long time, but that's a whole nother podcast, I'm sure. But postgraduate, I continued with my passion for volleyball. And Don, I don't know how much, I don't know if you've ever played the sport. It's a great sport. I know in Massachusetts, there's not a lot. It's not like the hotbed that, Southern California is.
I lived some time in Brazil, so we played a lot of beach volleyball in Brazil when I lived there.
Okay. Yeah. I know there are a few Brazilians on tour actually, but so post University of Hawaii, I played professionally for about 10 years.
Wow.
And I just love the sport, so going from indoor 6-man, where it's a very fast, hard hitting, type of sport. And then the beach, requires so much more finesse. And you're, playing up to 5 games a day in the sand, oftentimes, 90-degree weather. So it takes a toll on the body, but just fell in love with the sport. And that really introduced me to injuries and recovery. We worked with so many great athletic trainers and physical therapists, on tour that were on site. I had my share of back injuries, Achilles tendonitis, and that just introduced me to that world, which I had a, strong interest in. And so while on tour, a good friend of mine who was a great innovator came up with the design for a patellar tendon strap. And at that time, there wasn't very many on the market. There was a company, Chopat. I'm really dating myself.
No, but I recommend Chopat splints.
Okay. All right.
I'll recommend yours.
Short for chondromalacia patella. They were the only ones on the market. So we came up with a design, sourced out the materials locally, packaged it, and I started selling that to the volleyball market. And at that time, there were probably 95 volleyball specialty stores in the US.
Wow.
That has changed dramatically since then, right? Today, there's probably a handful. But one of those stores obtained the license through Miller Lite for all volleyball apparel. And that brought in ASICS sales reps. And so ASICS, that became our bridge to the run market.
Oh, wow.
And so we had the opportunity with one bigger running chain to design a product for Achilles tendonitis, plantar fasciitis, patellar tendonitis, iliotibial band syndrome, and shin splints And they gave us about 4 to 5 weeks to come up with a better design than what they had existing. So, I mean, it was pedal to the metal. We felt like this is our opportunity to really launch the company. And we made our designs to include compression pads to really target compression, in certain areas to stabilize and reduce strain to those areas. And it worked. We got in that account that broadened into the running market. And from there, we really focused on running injuries. And of course, that's an easy carryover into podiatry, sports medicine. And we just, grew the line from there. It's been
Wow.
a great.
So for those that are listening, underneath in the description, I'm going to put a link to your website so people can look at the different things that you offer. It's interesting. Now you got into kind of the massage market, which is so as podiatrists, we use some like ankle braces, we use certain types of braces. Basically, we do a lot of things that are called durable medical equipment. So if insurance pays for it, it's easier for us to do it. And then other stuff, we may carry a couple of things that we can do a lot of, like braces or ankle braces. But for the most part, there's a huge market, just like with like Dr. Scholl's or the CVS's of this world. They're doing a lot of things. Tell me about the massage or the massage tool things.
Right. So about 10, 11 years ago, we really had a choice. At that point in 2010, 2011, all we had were the orthopedic supports and braces. And we had a choice between massage and compression, and namely graduated compression. Those were two categories that were just starting to trend in the run specialty market. So we decided to go with massage. I just felt like it had wider bandwidth, more opportunities, to grow, more relevant to the market. And so we started with basic foam rollers and just evolved the line. So now we supply to podiatry and sports medicine. There's the standard foam rollers. There's the mobility balls. That was our second stage in that category into market. And we were the first to bring a larger diameter mobility ball.
The orb one.
Yeah, the orb. That's our line, the orb. So the 5-inch orb. We were first to market with that, which is such a great combination where you can have the larger muscle groups where you roll like a foam roller, but you can also achieve that single point myofascial release by just targeting a certain location, letting the compression go deep into the soft tissue, into the fascia, into the muscle, hold it for 30, 45, 60 seconds. And at some point that fascia and muscle, gives up, it relaxes and you get that release. So those became a big hit and very popular. And then we got a little bit more into the massage tools, like the handhelds, where you can manipulate the soft tissue more. And so these are great tools to have, in the clinics, in the podiatry
physical
offices.
therapy too. Yep.
Yeah, because it allows the medical professional to show the patient really how to self-care. I mean, physical therapists, podiatrists, I mean, you all have your hands, right? These are probably the best massage tools.
Yep.
You can do more with it. So everybody, needs to be there for that. Every patient needs to be there for that in clinic. But to be able to teach an individual how to use a massage tool, like, for example, this is our, RM Extreme Mini right here. You can roll it, great for the arch, for plantar fasciitis, but you can also use the other end of it to really, dig into a certain location to achieve a myofascial release, for example. So just the opportunity for a medical professional to educate, their patients so that their patients can take these tools home with them and provide themselves a certain level of self-care, to be proactive. That's just really going to expedite their recovery. They're going to need the expertise of the medical professional, but this allows them, to learn something new, to be more engaged, and to take home, some of that expertise and learning, so they can, help themselves.
Jeff, I think you said for those that are listening that are podiatrists, for me, this is the big takeaway. One thing is me to just refer, oh, hey, pick up that massage tool on the way out. The second thing is for me to actually, they come in with plantar fasciitis. I massage out the back of the calf. They walk and their pain has gone down by 30, 40% just by releasing the gastroc soleus. And they're like believers. And so
Right.
I think the key is to do that. And we've trained our staff. Our staff knows how to work. They work out the patients. We have videos we send them of how to use the stuff. But I think it's the 80-20 rule. So what are the 20% of the tools that you're going to use 80% of the time on every patient that comes in with Achilles, plantar fascia, peroneal, everything like that. And that's what we found. It's really changed our practice because no one else talks about anything above the ankle. I find within podiatry, they're focusing so much on the fascial, whereas I think the back of the calf is much more important for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all connective tissue, right? And there's certain, trigger points. So if you have, this isn't quite as relevant to podiatry, but if you have low back pain, sometimes a release in the piriformis is what's necessary, to release that connective tissue to get the flexibility you need. So yeah, I agree 100%, Don. The education of the individual makes such a difference. And it's really zooming out and looking at the bigger picture for what's, better for the patient. And it just adds value to the service provided by the podiatrist to have, their recovery package to have self-care as part of the protocol.
Yeah. Now let's kind of pull off the hat of the product hat and go more towards your entrepreneur hat. You've been doing this for how long, and kind of, what are some lessons you've learned doing this? It takes courage to start your own business.
It does. It does. I was young enough to not know any better and to kind of take, I had the capacity to take a risk.
And you could lose everything, and that's okay.
Right. And there's different levels of risk as far as an entrepreneur, how you start a business. There's people that are taking out second mortgages on their house, or plowing in a ton of money. Our approach was much more incremental and gradual. I never sought to have a private equity group put in this huge cash infusion, to launch us. And that's one way. And that can work for a lot of people. If you really want to just get out there quick, you can borrow or have an investment with all this money, but you may give up some equity along the way. So the road we took by incrementally growing, I think we borrowed maybe, $2,000 from a friend starting out to get some initial inventory. My parents co-signed for a student loan. Don't tell the bank, although I think the statute of limitations has run out on that. To answer your initial question, it's been 30 years now to really date myself. So, but yeah, starting out slow was our approach. And when I say slow, I just mean, not getting over our ski tips. We came up with products, and then no matter what approach you take, there is going to be a race to market. So you definitely want to cross your T's and dot your I's. And, if you have an innovation, if you have something truly unique, to file a patent, to spend money on that patent, I think that is important. But even if you have something that, is similar to what's out there and you can't get it patented, getting to market quickly is paramount. Yeah. You have to race to market because, especially today, when we started out, there wasn't as much of the internet and social media and Amazon. Today, if you have a new, innovative, unique idea and you bring it to market and it becomes popular, within weeks, you go on Amazon, there's going to be every innovation under the sun. So, for example, when I told you before about us bringing a patellar tendon strap to market so many years ago, there was a delay of maybe 5-6 years before competitors came out. If you were to look today on Amazon and look up how many patellar tendon straps there are, there's thousands. So in being an entrepreneur, you need to be quick to bring, products to market.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of advice I can think of along,
I like that. And what I found where we're really in an economy now is of knowledge. Like the way I think about stuff is, well, I could take your tools and I could make an online course that I'm doing that would kind of supplement that. You know what I'm saying? So I can
right,
make that increases value for me as a practitioner of how to use the tools specifically for plantar fasciitis if you're a volleyball player.
right,
It's kind of niched and kind of based on someone providing intellectual knowledge versus just a
right.
product.
Yeah, there's such a plethora of information, which is great for everybody, and it advances some of the technologies quicker too, and it enables so many different people to have access, access to great products quickly, because they become available quickly across the board.
As we finish up here, Jeff, we can continue on a different day, but as I mentioned, I have a family obligation here.
Right.
What you said is you start with one and then you added products. And this is something for those that are watching that are podiatrists. You might be overwhelmed with trying to start. We're not really selling product. We're just recommending the best stuff. So I always recommend the best product that you really believe in, but then just start with one thing at a time. So if you're starting, I would say start with just one foam roller, get 20 of them, learn how to do that. Then you can add the roller bars and other types of things. Just start with one, do it, and then you're going to build your confidence in how to do it.
Right. And also start with what you're most comfortable with, so having a foam roller, and those have evolved too. There's so many different types of foam rollers, but a fairly standard, EVA foam. EVA is one of the better foams. It's closed cell, non-toxic, doesn't harbor bacteria like some of the open cell foam. Yeah. And, I would suggest maybe a mobility ball also. That's fairly standard these days.
You guys train people how to use them too. Do you train because we can buy them, but what happens if a doctor doesn't know how to use them? Would they Google it, or do you guys have videos on your site and stuff?
Yeah, well, again, just like we're talking about, so much information out there on the internet, we have all of our own videos that are specific to our products.
Cool. Okay.
On how to use them. So there's videos on the orbs, the advantage of the multi-directional roll, where you can do, like we mentioned, single point myofascial release, roll small circles, or length of muscle. There, all of that is online through our website. You can get it, but also, on YouTube, there's other types of videos as well for foam rolling. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the website if people want to get more information?
www.pro-tech athletics.com.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for your time, Jeff.
All right. Thank you, Don.